So today we're going to be testing out Bagel, which is a new Chinese AI that's fully free, fully open source. It was released by ByteDance, which actually owns TikTok, I believe, as well. And essentially, as you can see right here, they say Bagel, the open source unified multimodal model. So it can also generate images, for example. Here's a demo of it. So let's play this to see what we get. And you can see examples of what it can do. So it can actually read images, it can tell you what images are, it can generate images as well, and then I believe it can also generate GIFs as well. So we'll be testing out side by side versus ChatGPT 4.0, and it's a very similar model in terms of parameters. For example, I've actually got a cheat sheet inside the AI Success Lab, which is completely free, runs you through exactly what it is, what you get, etc., how you can use it, and it's also got all the links to what we're talking about today. But essentially, if we look at Bagel, you can use this for image generation, as you can see right here. So you can say, like, tell me about this picture, and then it will tell you exactly what it is. Then you can ask about the artist, etc. You can use this for image generation, and also you can use this for editing images. So for example, here's a picture that's been plugged into Bagel, and then the user has said he squatted down and touched the dog's head, and then actually edited the image and has a picture of him squatting down and petting the dog's head. Same for this. So for example, we could take a picture of the Mona Lisa, change to 3D animated style, and then you've got like a, modern image of the Mona Lisa in 3D, kind of like a cartoon. Here's another one. This is quite interesting. So you can actually use navigation, right? So it says after 40 seconds, move forward. And then you've actually got a GIF that was created based on the image plugged in right here. So it can do a lot of different things. Here's another example. And if you want to get started, basically you can go and preview it at demo.bagel-ai.org. It is open source as well, so you can run it locally. You can see an example of the GitHub page right here. Examples of what you can do, etc. You can add emotions to images, all sorts of stuff. Pretty cool. Let's have a go now. So let's take a picture of me, and then we'll see if we can actually change the image and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to download an image of me. And then we're going to upload this into Bagel. So you can start a new conversation. You can actually change the language here as well. So you can change what language you have, and also the image output, and you can switch on think mode if you want to as well. And then you can switch between different parameters for the image as well. I'm just going to leave those as default, and then we're going to open up a example image, and we'll say, okay, change this image so it's a helicopter, not a plane in the background. See if we can change that now. So it does take a while to process. What we can do in the meantime is we can actually open up ChatGPT and test exactly the same prompt inside ChatGPT 4.0. So we've got 4.0 loaded over here, which is kind of like the comparative model to Bagel. We'll plug in the image, and then we're going to use exactly the same process right here. And there we go. So we actually have the image in the background. Kind of doesn't look great, to be honest with you. Let's open this up. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad. Let's compare the original image here. We'll compare these side by side. So this is the original image with the plane in the background, mini stairs, etc. A little bit blurry when you upload it. And then if we have a look here, it's very low res, but it has done the job. It has replaced the image with a helicopter, as you can see, which is pretty cool. Now, if we have a look at ChatGPT, let's see what ChatGPT did side by side. So this is the image afterwards. The resolution is much better on ChatGPT, but if you actually have a look at this, like, the face is so weird. The way it's sort of changed the face. It looks very much like AI generated when I compare them side by side. Let's have a look here. So this is ChatGPT, and this is Bagel. Honestly, I'm going to say ChatGPT wins just for quality. Let's download this and see if it comes out better quality when you download it. Here we go. Yeah, it's still pretty weird, isn't it? And then if you look here, super fuzzy on the body, but at least it didn't manipulate the head. However, ChatGPT wins by a long way right there. Let's test another thing out now. So I'm going to say, okay, new conversation, upload the image, and we'll say describe this image. Definitely takes a long time to get back to us. Inside ChatGPT as well, I like the fact that you can just copy and paste an image directly in there. So let's say describe this. If you actually go to a new conversation inside Bagel, you can't copy and paste the image from what I can see. So it's not like ChatGPT in that way. But still, it's free and it's open source. So I suppose that's what you get. So have a look at some other examples whilst waiting for this. I think it's drunk. Like, so we've said, describe this image with the image of me stepping out the plane, blah, blah, blah. And then it's come back to us with this, which is an image. Maybe we have to change the language output. Let's try that again. So if we have a look at ChatGPT's output here, it said the image shows a well-dressed man confidently stepping out of a sleek black helicopter. Here's the details, here's what it did, etc. Right? And it was super fast in the response as well. Although, to be fair, if you're using language output on Bagel as well, it does seem to come back to us with a much better image. So, for example, here, the image depicts a man walking down a set of stairs from a small private jet. The man is dressed, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, so it did a pretty good job there. I would say on par with ChatGPT. It's just ChatGPT's output is a lot cleaner. but not bad at all. Now we're going to go back to image output. And I'm going to say, change this to an image of the man dressed as an astronaut stepping out a UFO spaceship. And we'll switch to image output. We can put thinking mode on as well. But yeah, I gotta agree. I think the lighting here is not that great on the images that we're getting back from ByteDance. But we'll test this out. Let's try another prompt here. So we'll try making a car made of small cars. See if it's as good as a demo. Here's the image of the astronaut. It actually looks a lot better, to be fair. Look at that. Let's open this up. But the only problem here is that we don't actually get the spaceship in the background like we asked it for. So we originally said change this to an image of the man dressed as an astronaut stepping out of a UFO spaceship. And it kept the plane the same in the background. But at least the image quality is better. So let's try that again. And we'll do the same inside ChatGPT as well. That's pretty cool, to be fair. Let's open this up. Let's see what we got here. So we have a car made of small cars. That is a pretty cool image, to be fair. The other cool thing about this is, obviously, it is open source, but also there doesn't seem to be a limit, right? So you can create as many images as you want here. That is a usable image. I still wouldn't say it's as good quality as ChatGPT 4.0, but it's still decent. If you go back to the same prompt side by side, so ChatGPT versus Bagel, you can see the image that comes back from ChatGPT by default is not as realistic, right? So this is a lot more photorealistic. It does have the spaceship with the astronaut, which is what we asked, But this one looks a lot more photorealistic, to be honest. Let's now try something else. So we're going to say, okay, change this. Let's go back to this chat here. And we'll say, okay, change this to a 3D animated image. And we'll try the same inside ChatGPT. So you can see for speed, ChatGPT is just winning every time. But it's not very good at like creating those animated images. So for example, we said, change this to like a 3D animated image. It came back to us with this, which doesn't look great. Just kind of looks the same, to be honest with you. Let's see what Bagel comes back to us with. And if you're wondering, like, do you need an API key or anything to use this? You don't. You can just go to the demo.bagel-ai.org, and then from there you can actually get access. You don't even need to log in. It seems like pretty simple and easy to use. So no API required. So let's have a look at these side by side. It looks super weird. Let's open this up. So if we compare them, again, it's that image quality that's just not quite there. That's the only issue here. It's like, I can see the potential, but it looks super weird. I mean, which one are you going to choose? Even if this isn't exactly what you want, you're going to go with ChatGPT, right? For sure. For sure. I mean, as well, what I would say here is like, this is decent, but if you tested it out versus something like Flux, you're going to get much better responses from Flux, which can also generate images. If you're not aware what Flux is, let me show you an example. So you can go into Flux here, you can paste in the prompt, you can upload the same image style that you had before, like this for example, and then we can compare all three outputs, right? So if we have ChatGPT over here, we've got Flux in the middle, and then we have Bagel on the left-hand side, right? If you were comparing them side by side here, let's have a look what Flux has done. Flux hasn't done anything to that image. All right, let's try the same prompt here. So we're going to go with change this image to its helicopter inside Flux. I don't think there is an API available for Bagel. I think it's just available locally, so you can host it locally with GitHub, or you can also use it directly inside the chat. So here we have the images back from Flux. Let's compare these versus the helicopter one. So which one wins? I'm going to say ChatGPT's image probably comes in second there. It's not quite as realistic as Flux's, right? If you look at Flux, they've added like the helicopter style to the plane over there. And then if we look at Bagel, it still comes in last just because the image is like, you know, it's quite pixelated, low quality, low res, etc. And it takes a lot longer, right? So let's take this to another level now. We're going to say, okay, change this image so it's like a 3D cartoon style. We'll do the same inside ChatGPT, compare them side by side. So this is the cartoon style from Flux, which I would still, I mean, it's easy to beat Bagel at this point, to be honest. Like if you compare them side by side, this is still not perfect, but it looks better than Bagel. Let's have a look what ChatGPT comes back to us with. So if we compare these side by side, ChatGPT has easily won that, right? Like the image there from ChatGPT is way better. Let's pull this up. That's like proper cartoon style. Flux's is a bit of a joke, to be honest. Let's open this up. That is the image from Bagel. It's not even comparable to ChatGPT. Look at those side by side. And then finally we have Flux, which is okay. I wouldn't say it's the style that we're looking for exactly, but it can do its magic. So overall, I'm actually going to say that Bagel probably performing the worst out of all three of these. ChatGPT still comes in first. Flux is coming in second. Flux you can use for free though, which is good. ChatGPT obviously has limits even if you're on the pro plan and you're paying per month. And then Bagel has no limits, but it's a lot slower. However, it is open source and it is free. So if you want to get all the video notes from today, feel free to get that inside the AI Success Lab. This comes with all the resources from today, along with a bunch of courses, and you can get that link in the comments description, along with 100 different prompts for using Bagel AI. Is it the GPT 4.0 killer? I wouldn't say so at this point. I think it still needs a lot of work. However, the fact that it's open source and it can generate images for free, you can't really complain. And if you want to join this community, it comes with 9,000 members, as you can see inside here. Additionally, if you want to get coaching and support, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside here, we make a personalized video for you each week. We're actually running 3 coaching calls per week as well on AI automation. You can connect with me personally. Plus, inside here, we host all our best courses, workflows, AI agents, and every call gets recorded if you want to watch them back. So I recommend checking it out. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. And additionally, if you want us to implement all of the AI automation workflows that I show you, then we can just do that for you. Feel free to book in a call via this link right here, and we can book in a call, run through anything you want to automate, and then go from there. Cheers for watching. Bye bye. M says, what's your thoughts on creating a standardized benchmarking either tool or set of tools with scores so we can analyze new AI tools? I think it's hard to do, right? I don't really trust the benchmarks myself, usually when I see them online. The best way is just to test yourself and see what you can create from there, to be honest with you. So let's keep going now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. What you can use is AI, I think it's LM Arena, and basically LM Arena compares like all the different models, and then side by side you can compare like, okay, which one performs the best and which one do people generally prefer when it comes to coding. And they'll give you a leaderboard. So for example, let's have a look here. If you go to lmarena.ai, you can have a look at the leaderboard here. There we go. You can see actually Gemini 2.5 Pro is at the top. O3 is coming in second. And then for web dev, so there's different leaderboards here. You got one for text, one for web dev, one for vision, one for search, text to image, Copilot, etc. And then you can see how these all perform. That's one of the best ways I think to look at it, because it's like, you know, what do people typically find? And it's better than any sort of bias reviews or anything like that. Next up, what we're going to be looking at is Agent Zero and how you can automate stuff with that. Sporter says he mentioned tools out here first. Yeah, that's it. We show the new stuff here. Agent Zero, this free AI super agent is absolutely insane. So what I'm going to show you today is how I built, for example, this, and this all directly with Agent Zero. By the way, I've got a free ultimate cheat sheet inside the link, comments, and description if you want to learn more about this and what it does, etc. But basically with Agent Zero, this is a free AI super agent similar to Manus or GenSpark or Perplexity Labs and that sort of thing. And you can basically give it any prompt and it will go off and work its magic. So let's test out right now. As an example of this, if we say, okay, research Julian Goldie and create an amazing landing page for his SEO agency. With Agent Zero, this will basically analyze exactly what you want and then go off and do its magic, right? Now, at the same time, you can actually have multiple tabs running. So if we start a new chat on a different tab, we've got the first task right here, or the second task that we're going to run right here. So for example, we say, okay, build a HTML synth keyboard. This will start running two different tasks at the same time using Agent Zero, right? The cool thing with this is it's running locally and it's really easy to set up using something called Docker. So if you download Docker, then it's pretty much just a copy and paste job where you can start running this locally in your terminal and then you're good to go on this. And it's completely free. Now, if you want to get all the video notes from today whilst this is loading, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab, link in the comments description. We've got the full setup guide on how to start using it, all the resource links as well, plus 100 different prompt ideas that you can connect to the internet. Okay, we're going to say, okay, what's the S&P 500 price today? Bear in mind, I'm running this locally. I would recommend running it in a virtual environment, to be honest, when you're building this out, just so you know you can be safe with it. So you can run it inside Docker, and also it's really easy to set up with Docker as well. So here we go. It said the most recent available closing price for the S&P 500 is 5,935 as of June the 1st. Real-time prices for June the 3rd are not yet published. So it can connect to the internet. It can look at things in real time. It can code. It can build out stuff. It can, essentially look for different prices as well. If we said, okay, plan out a trip to Tokyo here, you can basically automate and build anything that you want with one click, right? So whether it's admin tasks like searching and planning out your neighborhoods or where you're going to be on that flight and the dates and that sort of thing, or whether it's, for example, building out HTML projects like you can see, it's really, really powerful doing this stuff. So now it's like, right, here's a 7-day trip plan for Tokyo for late September. Here's the flight prices, accommodation, transportation, top attractions, etc. And it's really, really fast to reply to you, right? As an example of this, we wanted to compare it side by side. If we do exactly the same thing in a paid tool, for example, like Manus, which costs $39 per month on the normal plan. If we go over to Manus here, we'll test this out. We'll say, okay, plan out a trip to Tokyo, hit enter. We'll do exactly the same thing inside Agent Zero at the same time, right? So this is in thinking mode, whereas Agent Zero is already planning out the trip, right? It's already come back to us, right? So it's a lot faster and easier to use. Plus you can run it locally. As you can see, it's hosted on a local URL. And then if you want to use this for free, right? So you can set it up for free and all that sort of thing. It's fully open source. But what you can also do is inside the API keys here, you can just use a free API key from Google, or you can plug in a free API key from OpenRouter, right? But either way, you can set up the super agent for free, and you can also generate responses for free. So it's so fast and easy to use. Let's test some other stuff out now. So I'm going to go inside Agent Zero, and we'll say create a one-tap flying bird game with trippy backgrounds, evolving music, explosion of X, every tap triggers particle burst, blah, 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 right? Single HTML. Let's see what we get back from that. So it's coding this out step by step. Basically what this is kind of like a wrapper for an API, right? So you plug in your API key, but then it's connected to different tools. So for example, it can connect to like browser use tools, or it can use, for example, response tools, right? And you'll see the tool name here. So for example, tool name equals response. If we scroll up, we've got the code execution tool. So it's basically like taking the API you've got and then connecting it to loads of different tools and doing it in a no-code way. So if we have a look now, we've got the trippy game, as you can see. That was pretty easy to generate. You can always go back and forth in the chat as well if you want to improve this, but you can see how easy that is to build out. Now, if you want some ideas on prompts and that sort of thing, I've got 100 prompts ideas for Agent Zero inside the AI Success Lab, along with the setup instructions and all the useful links and resources and some examples of what we've built before previously. So if we say now, okay, make a whack-a-mole game with sound effects, let's test that out. And there we go. Got that ready to go. Let's click on that. Open it up. There we go. what's pretty crazy about this is just how quickly it works and how it pretty much works every single time. Like, to me, that is wild. Because there's a lot of AI chat models and that sort of thing that actually don't work first time around at all. So next up, what we're going to say is create a color palette generator. See what we got here. There we go. Super fast stuff. And there we go. So you can click on these and then it will generate different color palettes. Let's try something a bit more interesting now. So I'm going to say inside here, create a drawing app where I can paint and draw on a whiteboard. Let's open this up. Damn, that works perfectly. This is crazy. There's also a bunch more settings inside here as well. So if we go back now, you got external services. There's a development section as well. Task scheduler, so you can actually manage scheduled tasks and automate stuff for later. So let's try that. I'm going to click on new task and we'll schedule this in. So I'm going to say, okay, do research on the latest AI news. You can choose whether you want it like ad hoc, planned, or scheduled. So you can actually schedule it in for later. And then you set up the cron schedule, system prompt, user prompt, and attachments, right? So let's try this. And I'll just change this to ad hoc for now. And then you get a token to trigger this externally. So there's some pretty cool stuff there. You can schedule in tasks. You also got web browser as well. So what that means is it can browse the web, start checking stuff out for you live. There's a speech to text model inside here as well. And utility model as well. So basically, so far, we've covered how to build apps, how to build tools, games, landing pages, using Agent Zero along with planning out trips and that sort of thing. There doesn't seem to be much that it can't do, to be honest with you. Let's try something else out. So we're going to say, right, browse the web and take a screenshot of Google and the S&P 500 price right now. So it's going to use the browser agent tool to start using its magic here. And it's like, right, we're going to go to finance.yahoo.com, open up Google, and take a screenshot. So you can see it's actually using Google right here. It's actually taking a screenshot of Google. Now it's navigated to Yahoo Finance, and it's taken a screenshot of the S&P 500 price. So what's crazy about this is like it can just go off and browse the internet just like a human, but it's really, really fast when it does it. Now, when I'm using this model, I'm actually using GPT, ChatGPT, but you could use, for example, Gemini or whatever you want, and because it's all connected to different tools, it should be easy to browse the web there directly too. And then what you can see here is the progress. So it's like, right, navigate to google.com. Then we opened up a new tab in Yahoo Finance. From there, extracted all the information from the page, took some screenshots, and it can go through and do its magic right there. Now, also what you can do here is you can switch between the history of each tab. So for example, if we want to go back to that trip to Tokyo, it's all labeled automatically right there. Really easy to switch through. Same with the synth keyboard and everything else that we built. Really cool stuff. I think as well, you could probably give it login details and then it would be able to log in and do stuff on your behalf too. But yeah, that's wild. Let's try and put it to a new limit now. So what I'm going to say is go to bagel-ai.org and generate an image of a cat. We'll see if it can actually do that. So it's going to use the browser agent tool to do that. Now you can see it's actually landed on the page. From there it's figured out, okay, it needs to click some buttons and move around. But it doesn't seem to be able to really like figure out, okay, here's exactly where to go. So I'm going to give it the URL for Bagel for the actual demo page and see if it can figure that out from there. So let's say use this instead. The good thing is you can interrupt it halfway through a task, so that's pretty good. It's starting a new conversation. So it does seem to be able to use the tool. And then it's typed in generate an image of a cat on Bagel down there. So it's using the internet without us, which is kind of crazy. And now we're in the queue. And we can see that our image is processing right here. So you can actually use websites, go off, start speaking to AI directly as well. So this is our AI agent on Agent Zero, and it's generating images inside Bagel, which is another AI website. And you've got AI agents going off on the internet and then generating images autonomously without me, right? Pretty crazy stuff.